Poor girl with her baby gets rejected at checkout. Suddenly, the Millionaire CEO steps forward. A story by Heartfelt Tales. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead as Emma's trembling fingers counted the crumpled bills one more time. $14.37. That was all that stood between her and her 4-year-old daughter Lily's next meal. The little girl clutched her birthday cupcake, a single vanilla cupcake with white frosting that Emma had splurged on from the bakery section, knowing it might mean they'd go without dinner tonight. "Mama, look!" Lily's bright blue eyes sparkled as she held up the cupcake with its tiny pink candle. Today was her 4th birthday, and Emma had promised her something special, even if it meant choosing between groceries and rent money. Emma's heart ached as she looked at her daughter's innocent smile. 3 months ago, they'd lost their apartment when Emma was laid off from her waitressing job. Since then, they'd been staying in a cramped motel room, surviving on whatever Emma could earn from odd cleaning jobs and the kindness of strangers. Her distressed denim jacket, torn at the sleeves, told the story of their struggles better than words ever could. The grocery store checkout line moved slowly, giving Emma time to calculate and recalculate. Bananas, milk, a loaf of bread, and some peanut butter. The basics. She'd already put back the apples, the cheese, and the small container of yogurt Lily loved. Each item returned to the shelf felt like a small defeat. When their turn finally came, Emma placed their meager selection on the conveyor belt with careful precision. The teenage cashier, her name tag reading Jessica, began scanning items with practiced efficiency. The total climbed, $3, $6, $9. Emma held her breath. $14.53, Jessica announced, her voice carrying the automatic cheerfulness of someone who'd repeated the same phrase hundreds of times that day. Emma's stomach dropped. She was 16 cents short. 16 cents that might as well have been $16. "I'm sorry," Emma whispered, her voice barely audible above the store's background music. "I need to put something back." Jessica's expression softened as she looked at the young mother and her toddler. Behind them, the line was growing longer, and Emma could feel the weight of impatient stares boring into her back. A businessman checked his expensive watch with obvious irritation. A woman in workout clothes sighed loudly, shifting from foot to foot. "Which item would you like me to remove?" Jessica asked gently, understanding the delicate situation. Emma looked down at Lily, who was now trying to light the imaginary candle on her cupcake, making little whoosh sounds as she pretended to blow it out. The sight nearly broke Emma's resolve. She reached for the cupcake, knowing it had to go back. Her daughter's birthday treat would have to be sacrificed for sustenance. "The cupcake," Emma said, her voice catching. "Take off the cupcake." "No, Mama." Lily's voice rose in confusion and distress. "My birthday cake." The words echoed through the checkout area, and Emma felt her cheeks burn with shame. Several customers in line began muttering, their judgmental whispers cutting deeper than any blade. She heard fragments, "Should have planned better, why have kids if you can't afford them, probably on drugs." Emma's vision blurred as tears threatened to spill over. This wasn't how she'd imagined her life would turn out. She'd been a good student, had dreams of becoming a teacher. But life had other plans. An unexpected pregnancy during her senior year of college, an abusive boyfriend who disappeared the moment he learned about the baby, parents who disowned her for ruining her life. Just as Jessica reached for the cupcake to scan it back, a deep voice cut through the tension. "Excuse me, I'll cover the difference." Emma looked up to see a man in his mid-40s stepping forward. He was impeccably dressed in a charcoal gray coat that probably cost more than Emma made in 3 months, but his dark eyes held something she hadn't seen in a long time, genuine kindness without judgment. "Sir, that's really not necessary," Emma began, her pride warring with desperation. The man smiled warmly at Lily, who was now staring at him with curious wonder. "What's your name, little princess?" "Lily," she announced proudly, holding up her cupcake. "It's my birthday." "Well, happy birthday, Lily. I'm David." He looked back at Emma. "Please, let me do this. It's her birthday, and every little girl deserves a birthday cake." Emma wanted to refuse, wanted to maintain some shred of dignity, but looking at her daughter's hopeful face, she found herself nodding. David handed Jessica a $50 bill before Emma could protest further. "Keep the change for the next person who might need it," he told the cashier. As they walked toward the exit, David fell into step beside them. "I hope you don't mind me asking, but are you two doing okay?" I couldn't help but notice. Emma's defenses rose automatically. "We're fine. Thank you for your help, but we can take care of ourselves." David stopped walking and turned to face her fully. "I'm sure you can. I wasn't questioning your ability to care for your daughter. I can see how much you love her just by watching you together. But sometimes we all need a little help, and there's no shame in accepting it when it's offered freely." There was something in his voice, a gentleness that made Emma pause. She looked at him more carefully, noting the laugh lines around his eyes, the way he'd crouched down to Lily's level when speaking to her. "I own a company downtown," David continued. "We're always looking for good people, and I have a feeling you might be exactly what we need. If you're interested, that is." Emma stared at him in disbelief. "You don't know anything about me. I could be anyone. I could be. You could be a mother who gave up her own dinner so her daughter could have a birthday cupcake," David said quietly. "You could be someone who's working 3 cleaning jobs to keep a roof over your child's head. You could be someone who's too proud to ask for help but loves her daughter too much to let her go without." Emma's breath caught in her throat. "How do you?" "Because I was that child once," David said simply. "My mother worked herself to exhaustion trying to provide for my sister and me after my father left. I remember being embarrassed when she had to count change at the grocery store, remember the nights she went to bed hungry so we could eat. But I also remember her strength, her determination, her unwavering love." He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a business card. "Datacore Solutions. We provide data management services for businesses across the state. I started it 15 years ago with nothing but a laptop and a dream. Now we employ over 200 people, and we pride ourselves on giving opportunities to those who need them most." Emma took the card with shaking hands. "David Chen, CEO and President." "I don't have a college degree," she whispered. "I didn't finish." "Neither did I," David smiled. "Some of our best employees are people who learn through experience rather than textbooks. What matters is character, dedication, and the willingness to learn. I think you have all 3 in abundance." Lily tugged on Emma's jacket. "Mama, can we light my candle now?" Emma looked down at her daughter, then back at David. For the first time in months, she felt a flutter of something she'd almost forgotten: hope. "The position starts at $45,000 a year," David continued, "with full health benefits and childcare assistance. We believe in investing in our people because we know that when you take care of your employees, they take care of the business." Emma's knees nearly buckled. $45,000 was more than she'd made in the past 2 years combined. "Why?" she asked, tears now flowing freely. "Why would you do this for a complete stranger?" David's expression grew thoughtful. "When I was 12, my mother and I were at a grocery store, much like this one. She was counting change for a package of hot dogs and a loaf of bread. An old man in line behind us saw her struggling and quietly paid for our groceries. But more than that, he gave her the business card of a friend who owned a cleaning company and was looking for reliable workers." He paused, watching as Lily attempted to balance her cupcake while examining a nearby display of colorful balloons. "That job changed everything for our family. My mother worked her way up from night janitor to office manager. She was able to send both my sister and me to trade school. I learned computer programming, started my own business, and never forgot the kindness of that stranger." Emma wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. I don't know what to say. Say you'll come in Monday morning at 9, David replied. The address is on the card. Ask for Sarah in Human Resources and tell her I sent you. We'll start you in our client services department, and if you're interested, there are plenty of opportunities for advancement. As they reached the parking lot, David knelt down one more time to address Lily. Happy birthday, sweetheart. Make sure your mama brings you by the office sometime. We have a great break room with lots of toys. Lily giggled and threw her small arms around his neck. Thank you for my birthday cake. David stood and shook Emma's hand. Everyone deserves a second chance, Emma. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. As he walked away toward a modest sedan, not the luxury car Emma had expected, she called after him. Mr. Chen. How did you know my name? I never told you. He turned back with a knowing smile. It was on your debit card receipt. Jessica held it up when she was trying to process the return. Emma laughed through her tears, the first genuine laugh she'd had in months. She looked down at Lily, who was now attempting to lick the frosting off her cupcake. What do you say we go back to our room and have a proper birthday party? Emma suggested. With singing? Lily asked hopefully. With singing, Emma confirmed. As they made their way to the bus stop, Emma clutched the business card tightly in her hand. Monday seemed both impossibly far away and approaching too quickly. But for the first time in over a year, she felt like maybe, just maybe, things were going to be okay. That night, in their cramped motel room, Emma helped Lily blow out the makeshift candle they'd fashioned from a birthday candle and a piece of bread. As her 4-year-old daughter made her wish and blew out the tiny flame, Emma made her own silent promise: she would work harder than anyone David Chen had ever hired. She would prove that his faith in her wasn't misplaced. She would build a better life for Lily, one day at a time. Sometimes kindness comes from the most unexpected places, wearing the face of a stranger who understands that we all need help sometimes. And sometimes, all it takes is one person willing to step forward and say, I see you, I understand, and I want to help. That night, as Lily slept peacefully beside her, Emma stared at the business card until she'd memorized every detail. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but it would also bring new possibilities. The little girl who'd almost lost her birthday cupcake had gained something far more valuable, a future full of hope, made possible by the kindness of a stranger who remembered what it felt like to count change at a checkout counter.